Hello and welcome to the Herzog Leadership Series. My name is Riley Stapleton, and today I'm joined by Craig Ebersold, Herzog's Senior Vice President of Pursuits and Development. Craig, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thanks, Riley.
To start, I would just like to hear kind of the story of your career, where you started out and how you worked your way up to your current position.
Sure. I think I'd be remiss if I didn't talk about the fact that I've been around Herzog since I was born. My father started at Herzog the year I was born, 1973, and I've had friends and family members and mentors that have worked for the company since 1973. So it always felt like an extension of my family, and there's definitely a time when I thought I'll never work in construction, I'll never work for Herzog, but ultimately this was the right place for me. So that feels like the start of the story. When I really worked for Herzog for the first time was 1995 in San Diego on the Mission Valley extension job. And I started as a carpenter's laborer on a bridge crew.
You mentioned there was a point that you thought you would never work for Herzog. What changed to kind of get you into the position that you're at now?
What changed for me is that it offered a career at some point. I had done a lot of things, and I didn't study traditionally to be an engineer or in construction management or finance. I was a philosophy major at the University of New Hampshire, and I just didn't think that was the path that I was going to take. Herzog was great to my family, great for my parents, and it was always there. It just was, I wanted to do something different. I thought that academics was where I would end up, and that ended up not being the right place for me. I think that my philosophy degree has helped me with critical thinking, critical analysis, and that has translated to the profession at Herzog. But ultimately, it wasn't what I thought I wanted to do. In the end, it's exactly what I wanted to do.
And from when you started, your first position in Herzog to now the leadership position you're in now, what do you think enabled your rise through the company?
When I was hired the first time, I was told to keep my head down and my mouth shut and everything would work out. And to a significant degree, that's been the case. Having a little faith that leadership was going to figure things out and find the right path for me and the company has worked for me. And contributing to that in any way that I can has been part of my success. And I think there's value in keeping your head down and doing the work and getting the fundamentals so that you can succeed and understand the base of what the organization, the company, and the industry is.
And are there any values or beliefs that you've had that you think have attributed to your success?
Yeah, I think they're pretty simple. I think that as long as I'm concentrating on doing what's best for the people I work with and for the company, then I'm generally acting in accordance with my own value system and what I think Herzog's value system is.
And on a more kind of technical side, you mentioned how the philosophy background has helped you, but can you just talk about some skills or abilities or things like that have helped you in your career?
Yeah, I've never been a subject matter expert on anything, I don't think. It's more about getting to understand the bigger picture, how the pieces go together. And where I feel like I've succeeded most is in helping other people do their job. I was never going to be doing calculations and figuring out mathematical problems for engineering, but I'm able to help people resolve roadblocks in doing their job. And that's where I think I'm most successful.
Yeah. Can you talk to me about some of the challenges that you face as a leader and how you overcome those?
Sure. I think that getting everybody moving in the same direction, we've got that slide in the R Factor training of all the arrows moving in the same direction. And that's great when things are just going swimmingly. When things are tough and the direction is harder to understand, and keeping everybody motivated and positive, that's where it's difficult. That's where it takes a lot of effort to support the people around you and help them get through what end up being tough times. When you get on the other side of it, it galvanizes everybody. I think everybody benefits from it. But getting through those moments and not quitting on the task, if you will, is part of the success.
Yeah. In your career, can you talk to me about a time that you made a mistake, but you think you really learned from it?
Yeah, so mistakes are part of life, are part of your professional life, your personal life, and they're important to growth. And if we're not learning from them, then there's no growth, and there's no value in the mistakes. And I think that the overarching mistake that has caused the most problems in my career is not racing towards problems. Identifying problems is easy, but solving those problems is the challenge. And when you identify the problem and you don't race towards it, that's a mistake. You've got to race towards solving it. You can't just sit back and go, well, we know this is going to be a problem, so let's wait for it to happen. You've got to mitigate those things. And when we don't mitigate, when we don't race towards the problem, that causes bigger problems than the ones that already exist. Those challenges can be difficult, but the only way to get there is to advance and move towards it. So I know that's not a specific example. If I were looking for a specific example, it's one of the biggest overall mistakes that I was ever involved with was putting a commuter rail train on the ground. We derailed it, and we had a 5-day shutdown in Texas. We did a fantastic job from beginning to almost the end. Everything went great. We were on time. We were meeting schedules. There were no safety incidents. But on the last day, we didn't inspect the entire track. We missed a derail that was outside of the final limits of the shutdown, but inside of the original limits. Well, we changed the limits. And so at 5 a.m. one morning, we turned the track over, said it was good, and the first train through, we derailed it because we left the derail on the track. And that was a huge mistake, a major mistake on our part. And what I've learned from that piece is to make sure that you take, that we're pressing pause and reflecting on what we're doing. We had a change of conditions. And where we have the most safety incidents in national construction is when we don't stop and reassess after we have a change of conditions. We had the greatest plan, and it worked wonderfully, but we didn't reassess after we changed the conditions. And that was the most impactful, to the company, to the railroad, to our customers, to the employees around us, and ultimately, as the leader on that project, I was responsible, and it was unfortunate that what happened. I think that we've learned from it. We sure won't do it again.
At this point, you mentioned that Herzog has kind of always been a part of your life and your family's life, but today, in your current position, what motivates you to pursue excellence at Herzog?
It's the people around me. I feel fortunate that I get to do what I'm doing. I feel fortunate that Herzog is an extension of my family and always has been. And what motivates me is waking up every day and helping develop the next leaders in this company, transitioning to the next generation of leaders who are going to help this company succeed and become perpetual. That's what motivates me at this point.
Mm-hmm. And on the topic of that next generation, if there was someone out there watching this right now that wanted to be in your shoes one day, what is one piece of advice that you would give them?
I'm kind of going to refer back to that initial advice I got, which was keep your head down and do the work, learn the fundamentals. You don't have to, you can be a subject matter expert, but ultimately you're going to, in this role, you're going to have to lead a bunch of different subject matter experts. And for me, I was never going to be able to master all of those things, but listening to people, understanding what they do, and understanding what roadblocks they face and helping them eliminate those, that's how you succeed as a leader as far as I'm concerned. So understanding the fundamentals of each position that you have, and then how those positions affect the rest of the people in the organization, I think that's how you ultimately succeed.